noise. Do you know which country? India. India. Yes, because of FTA. Right? So I was very puzzled. Why is that so? I did a research this morning, only this morning, I took a look. Because in the FTA, there's chapter 9. You go and read. You just write Singapore, India, FTA. You come to a website, Singapore, the government website. Under the chapter 9 of India FTA, it's called CECA, C-E-C-A, right? It's stated there's a list of 40 professional group that we are supposed to allow them to access to our jobs. Right? Free access, almost. Else we will be against, we are actually not doing according to what we want FTA. Right? What does it mean? That is not all, you know. Under the details of the articles that is written, it's not only the workers from India, but if they work in Singapore, they can bring their spouse, their families to Singapore. And we are supposed to give them job if they can find one. That is the India-Singapore FTA for you. And I'm very proud of Singapore, you know. I've been saying this every 44 years of my life. I have to salute it. Right? But we are here because of this flag. Right? We are here because we love Singapore. But we have been sold out. We have been totally sold out. Very good. Now, who in the right mind, as a political leader of a small country like Singapore, with only 3 million people, Singaporean, would go into the FTA with a country with 1.3 billion people to open our arms to say we will allow how many more Indian nationals to come to our place to have a job. And not only that, even their spouse can get a job. I can tell you, if a Singaporean have a foreign spouse, they won't even get a PR that easily. Right? They can't even get a job. And now we are writing an FTA to the India to say that their spouse can get a job, while Singaporeans' foreign spouse cannot get a job. Got logic or not? No. We are sold out. And why we are sold out? If you look at the FTA, India is a 1.3 billion people now, because Temasek want to have access to the country. Their services, they want to invest in their services. If you look at what Temasek is buying in India, you'll be scary. What GIC is buying in India is scary. But do this Temasek and GIC benefit us? We can't even earn, when we put our CPF money into the government, it says, oh, it's not invested in them. Right? It's bullshit. Right? We give them coffee powder, they put the water, they put the milk, they put the sugar, stir a bit, give it to Temasek, give it to GIC, and say it doesn't belong to us. Got logic or not? So, they say that whatever Temasek or GIC earns, we do not earn that much. A pittance of 4% of the bottom. It's not no conspiracy lah. They're having a practice of our NDP. I will come to NDP later. We are spending our defense money and asking our conscript, our NS men to do all this every year. That's why we have to put 2 years in it. Pilot right? Regulars. No, there are a lot of soldiers on the ground also. Right? So they are benefiting mostly the Temasek and the GIC, which doesn't earn anything for us. This is one thing they have sold out. So it comes back to another thing. What is the economic strategy of the Prime Minister? Anyone know? What is exactly his vision of economic development for Singapore? Casino. He came in 2004 and we start to have casino. But casino, we have to even pay $100 to get in. Does it benefit us? Not that I encourage you to go in, but we have people who committed suicide, whether it's aunties, uncles, retirees, or businessmen who instead of spending their time to thinking of enhancing their business, who squander their money in the casino. Do we want that? Do we really want that? Does it increase our productivity as a nation? It doesn't. And talking about productivity, his strategy of economic development, if you study economics, economics is very simple but yet very complicated, right? GDP is equals to labor plus capital investment, right? And consumption plus consumption, investment and consumption, basically. So if you cannot increase your productivity or your companies, the local companies, what do? You get the MNCs in and you let them have cheap labor. Where to get the cheap labor? India. That's what they're doing. That is his economic policies. And why does he need all these economic figures? Why?
Basic salary.
Bonus. To justify their $1 million pay. And that is exactly what they are doing. Right? If you look at it, whatever policies he has, be it economics, being FTA, it doesn't concern us. We are not at his priority list. It is all about business. And the business is not our business. It is about GIC, Temasek, and the MNCs. And that's basically all. Right? What the MNCs have wanted, he will give it to them. Right? So when you look at it, in the midst of his economic policies that he wanted to do, he didn't care even whether an influx of 1 million or 2 million or 3 million people will affect us. And that is exactly the impact we are facing now. Transport, he doesn't take transport. Those wayang in the MRT station is once in a lifetime or once in a blue moon. Right? Happy go. Then people have to open up the cabin for him. So, right? I have challenged him. Right? I have challenged him. He was saying that our public transport is okay. I have challenged him to stay in HDB. I do not have a HDB. My friend is willing to be her host, to stay in his HDB flat for only 1 week. Take the MRT every day to his Istana office to experience what we have experienced as laymen. We cannot blame him because he has been born with a silver spoon. He has not lived in a HDB before, right? Even a normal terrace house also never. It's bungalow. We cannot blame him for not understanding our lives. But not understanding our lives is one thing, but not having the heart to take care of us is another. Right? So his economic policies and the way he looked at things, he thought that he can copycat. Xi Jinping can go to Beijing once for line up for Xiao Long Bao. He thought he can copy that for Curry Bao. Xiao Long Bao is not Curry Bao anyway. Or for the chicken wing, right? He can copycat, but nobody actually take it seriously. Right? Because our lives, our everyday lives, have been affected by his policies. Right? And to think that you squeeze a bit in MRT is not that a big problem. It's okay. But how about when you need hospital care? Do you know how bad is the hospital system in our healthcare system? We have I always say a PAP doctor MP who say that don't politicize hospital. What shit is that? People's lives, Singaporeans' lives, is politics. You mean our lives is peanuts? It is politics. It is for the politician to take care and to consider. It is politics. He says that the situation of having beds lying all over the place along corridors is not everyday affairs. I am going to tell him It is an everyday affair. Not only in Kutupat, where my mother is being admitted. Right? You know what happened when he's admitted? The doctor says, oh, you got a serious problem, you have to be warded. But if you cannot wait, you must go back, you can go back first. What type of doctor is that? You know, if the doctor's assessment is that this patient needs to be warded, then he or she should be warded. You cannot turn around to say that, oh, because you are going to wait for 2 days for a bed, so you better be discharged against doctor's advice. So they do not want the responsibility. They just tell you the problem. You need to be awarded, but our hospital don't have bed, so you have to discharge against my advice. Does it sound right? It doesn't sound right. And to think that my mother is already 85 years old. You make her wait for the whole day and expect her to wait for 2 days to get a bed, a proper bed. I asked, after I complained in my Facebook board, they actually offer us, I think a class A, but I declined. I said, do not because I complain, you make special arrangement for me. I'm nobody, right? I do not want special treatment. If my mom can suffer like that, there are many more outside who have waited for more than 1 day who need a bed. I asked her to discharge. Now, these ministers and MPs, they do not suffer this. Because when Lee Kuan Yew go to SGH, you expect him to wait for 2 days for a bed. Cannot be. Immediately straight away, class A in the block 7, SGH. Yeah, don't know block 9 or block 7. Somebody say block 7. They do not experience that. That's why they have this concept that, oh, it is not a big problem. I say, shit. Right? You have to experience it. And I'm talking from a person who has experienced it. Right? You have HDB who have been inflated until our youngsters cannot buy. Do they care? When I have raised this HDB issue with Ma Bao Tan, I say, let's debate. Life, you choose the place I will go. It's Siama. And he dared to say that if my idea is going to go through, we will be raiding the reserve. I said, my retort, very simple. Then you pay the ministers millions and millions of dollars and the increase every year is not raiding the reserves. Well, there are many things that we can list out. And only one conclusion to come in mind. They are very generous to themselves. But they are damn British fucking, sorry my word, stingy towards us, the people. Sorry for using that word. Because when it comes to public interest, I am very pissed off. Alright. Now, what is Lee Hsien Loong's idea of governance? Does he have a vision?
No.
None of the speakers have talked about Ho Ching yet. I will talk about Ho Ching. There's nothing about being, I want to defame him or anything. By simply looking at him as the Prime Minister, Ho Ching as the Temasek CEO, what type of leadership are you trying to show to the rest of Singapore?
Oh, in the family.
We have people, high civil servants being charged for corruption, right? Mistrust can get special treatment. If the leaders, the top leaders, can put his own wife as the head of a Temasek, what's wrong with that? Our first response will be, definitely got something right. Right? Conflict of interest, that's right. It is a conflict of interest. When you are in a position of a public service, you have to lead by examples. You do not make things to be seen that you are favoritism, you practice favoritism, and immerse with conflict of interest. You should practice the avoidance of conflict of interest as a leader. then you have a moral authority to tell your guys, you don't be hanky-panky, no corruption for you. Does he have a leadership by example? No. This is why I think he needs to step down immediately, because he's doing great harm to our civil service. Now, last but not least, we have been sold out on our health. You know, I am not very sure whether he learned physics or not. You know, nuclear radiation doesn't go off within 2 years, 3 years. Right? When you are talking about nuclear radiation, the half-life is at least 10 years, 20 years, if it's not 100. It means after 10 years, the radiation only cut half. Right? Fukushima. After only 3-4 years, he said, oh, we can lift the ban. Why? Even the Japanese there don't really dare to eat their own produce. Why is this Prime Minister putting our health at risk?
You don't eat, ma.
Our friend here say he got brain. I don't think he got brain. Right? Why? The question is money again. Because you want Japan to be in a TPP, the Trans-Pacific Plan, to do business with Japan. To want Japan to invest, and we can invest in Japanese companies and export to Japan. So for everything that you look at what he does, it is always money, not money for us, money for GIC, Temasek, and the government. Is not, he is even willing to put your risk and my risk, my health at risk to achieve that. So do you think he worth to be our Prime Minister? No. We want him to resign. Right? He sold us out by our jobs to the Indian, which has 1.3 billion people. And he sold us out our health to the Japanese. How could we tolerate anymore for him to be our Prime Minister? No. We have come to a point. As a political opponent, people say, oh, we lose the election, we must respect the voters' choice. Whatever person that PAP put up to be Prime Minister, we should accept. No. If this person doesn't take care of our interests, our welfare, when he makes the policies decision, why should we allow him to continue to be our leader? Right. I thank you for your attendance today. And keep it strong. Next week we have another CPF protest coming. I hope to see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Goh Meng Seng. Don't go down first. You know, Goh Meng Seng got a very, very valid point about Ho Ching. You know, that reminded me of President Clinton. He has a very, very capable wife. In fact, his wife can almost become the president also. You know that? And yet, when he was president, what post did his wife hold? Nothing. That is the true moral authority we are talking about, right? Yes. This is the type of moral authority we want to see in our Prime Minister. Thank you, Goh Meng Seng, for bringing it up.